Hello, I am Witch Nikki, and I forgot exactly why I mentioned this. Maybe I was talking to somebody recently or mentioned asking questions with my crystal. I think I left a comment somewhere where there's different forms of divination, and I wanted to talk a little bit about them today. There's a very extremely ancient method called runes, R-U-N-E, rune. That is using some stones that have symbols on them. Some people used or have used sticks or little stones or pebbles or whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to use. And they have symbols on them. And I do that from time to time. But that's kind of like rolling dice to me. It's not that I don't believe in it. It's pretty interesting, method. The next method, I mean, there's probably a lot of them out there, but the ones that I'm aware of and that I've used, a Ouija board. Now, some of you will be saying, oh my God, I don't even like to hear that word. Okay. I found out a long time ago how powerful and dangerous those could be. But the reason why is because you're asking for somebody to come and talk. If you don't know who's coming, don't mess around with that kind of stuff. My mom knew that there was a possibility of me being a witch because we had witches in our family. And I guess she had been talking to some of the elder witches in our family, and they were probably telling her to give me tests or whatever you will. And my mom got one of those Ouija boards. But she didn't explain it. I guess she just wanted to see what natural abilities took its course with me and it. I kind of don't like that method. I would never do that to Ginger. Never. And I'll tell you why. This is why. Because of what happened. A friend and I sitting there and playing this game. Okay, they called it a game back then. My mom did, and a lot of people do, and it's sold by, I think, Milton Bradley or somebody like that, with the listing of game. And but a long time ago, it was a method, and it still is today, to communicate with the unliving, whatever you want to call them. So we're using the planchette, and we said, we didn't even know how, but we put our fingers on, her and I, our 2 fingers on, and we said, does anybody there want to talk to us? Does anybody have anything to say? And it started spelling, get out now, which made my friend very fearful. Me, not so much, until the planchette was taken from us and went phew, and then the board itself went phew, and me, bam, to the floor, pushed to the floor. I think I had lost some consciousness at that moment, and my friend had already down the hall telling my mom to come quick. So, and she came here, and she was trying to get me to wake up or sit up or speak or whatever. And so finally I did. But I was like shaking, trembling. And she asked my friend to just go sit in the other room, and she talked to me about it. Then we were members of a church back in those days, and some of you have known that I have mentioned before, being Mormon, or what's known as LDS, Latter-day Saints. And so she called the elders of the church, the Mormon missionaries, or not the missionaries, but the, I don't know what you call it. In other churches, they're called priests and such and whatever. Now, this was not like anything equal to like a pope or an exorcist type of a person or something like that. They're just gave blessings to people that needed them. And they came and they blessed me. And then they gave my mom a lecture. You shouldn't let her do this kind of thing. It's going to invite evil into your house. It's going to invite discussions or conversations with the devil. And so I had to kind of back off and abide by that. But they didn't tell her not to use an ESP game. It was more like an exercise to use. And I was very good at that too. And then soon she took that game away from me too, when she saw how powerful I was with that as well. And that was more like, you know, you look at a card that has nothing, and then you think about what shape is on the other side, or color, or whatever. And I was very, very good at that. I was getting very high scores. And my mom, I guess, she got her answer that I had abilities, gifts. Excuse me a moment, I'm going to take a sip of water. So, a while back, I was kind of seeing that there was this new thing. It's not so new. It's been around for a few years, and it's been used. Now it's even in apps. And you've seen me use one. It is a EVP. And you can pick up voices on it. Some people use a little device to do that, and it's very staticky, and it just drives me crazy. That noise drives me nuts, and I don't like really using them too much. But you can pick up the voices, and so for me it was like the Ouija board, and now these EVPs are more like a modernized one. You're still asking questions of people who are deceased. One is very old because they didn't have EVPs back in those days. So they did use what they thought would be something that would work. Okay, and it's very old. There's different methods and different boards and stuff like that. Another way here are my crystals, and this one works the best for me, and I'm trying to put it in a way that you can see that it moves. Here it is moving. No way. And I have my elbow on the table. I have my other hand there. It could probably go like this, because I've done that before too. But I like to kind of use my hand. Now, anything going, this is what I'm doing. Back and forth, back and forth. That is a yes. See? Like your head. Okay? Now, going from side to side, no. Okay? And going around in a circle like this, or anything like, just like not really giving a yes or a no, it's kind of like, I don't know. The answer, the question wasn't clear enough for me to know. It wasn't clear enough. Okay? Now, I have used this many times. Yeah, there was only one time that I used it for, I would say, for gaming. And I know I shouldn't have, but I was trying to prove a point on somebody who doubted me, and I really hate it when people are skeptical when I'm saying I've done something, I've done it. I'm not a liar. I don't make up stories. Just because you don't understand what I'm saying or doing, just because you have not experienced it, or you don't know how to do it, doesn't mean that I'm lying. And there's just like one of my biggest pet peeves in life is people telling me that I'm lying when I'm not. And it just, you know, I'm trying to even calm down thinking about that. Okay. So I wanted to kind of demonstrate with you with this. And you don't want it to where it's like dragging. And you could see in the background here, I'm sorry about that, but that's why I'm kind of using this different, the sepia color in the background, so that hopefully that doesn't show up pretty good. And so far, it's not really bothering me. I mentioned how it bothers me, that rotation up there. So the wind isn't really blowing this, and you're going to see when I ask it certain questions, you're going to see that it will be going, let's say, back and forth toward you in a way, back and forth, yes, and then it will just kind of slow down, or it might just keep doing that, and then I ask another question. If it's a no, it's going to go like this. It's going to change its directions on its own. And that's why I want to try to have my hand here in view of you. My elbow is on the table to make it sturdy. And here's what it looks like when I try to move it myself. See, I have to give it some motion. You're going to see my hand going and then doing like that too, okay? You're going to see my hand doing that if I was doing it myself, faking. And I don't fake with this. It gives me accurate reading every time I use it. Okay. Hello, Crystal. I'm going to ask you some yes and no questions, and I would like you to participate with me in giving some answers. Is that okay? I'm looking to see if it's showing up as a yes. Okay, good. Crystal, the name that I use is which Nikki Joe Starflower. Is this correct? But my real name is it Penelope Lawrence? Is my real name Nikki Joe Lucero? Now, I wish I could take the camera around so you could see it in different ways, but I'm hoping that you can see that there is changes in the directions that it's swinging. Okay, these are just like simple questions that you and I should know. At least I know. And here's another one. Crystal, did I write a book called The New Colorful Creatures? Is that book about murder? Is that book about butterflies? Was that story told by my grandmother? Very good. Thank you, Crystal. Those are just a few questions that I ask. Here's one. Sorry. The fan is kind of bothering me. I'm sorry. I almost forgot that I was recording. I'm really sorry about that, but you know it's live and it's real when stuff like that happens. Okay. Okay, here's a question. Crystal, do I have a friend who lives in Florida that I only know over the internet through Instagram, and his name is Kevin? Is his name Kevin Snake? Is his name Kevin Tiger? Is his name Kevin Dragon? You might not be able to see it, but it has shifted. I can see it from here. And it's very hard. Maybe I could hold it in a different position. You want to leave just enough on it so it does have a swing on it, and you don't want to clutch it too tight that it's not able to, that it's just like this. You want to have enough on it, not like all the way down so it's dragging. So I get it a nice comfortable. Okay. Thank you, Crystal, for giving me those answers. Is my birth mother Virginia Trick? Did she die October 1st, 1995? Thank you, Crystal. So, no matter the method that you use, this one is very limited, but I do like it, because you're gonna getting an energy from the universe, from yourself, from the crystal, within yourself, within the universe and the crystal. It's not like I'm asking, oh, great spirits, oh, whoever's out there, please come and talk to me, ring a bell. Oh, that's not a bell. Okay, there are other methods, and the reason why I might not be going into them is because either I've tried them and didn't really get a good reception, or whatever you want to call it, or I just don't like it, or I don't have that way. There's tarot cards, which someone recently gave me some tarot cards, and he meant so in a good way. It was a gift, a gesture of niceness, but I've never really gotten into using tarot cards, and I don't disapprove them or approve them. I'm just kind of neutral in the middle there. I've kind of used them to see how they work, but I wouldn't take it for, I don't know how to put this, but I wouldn't foretell my future or something on the way that I used it, because I was just practicing, really. And I knew in my mind I was just practicing. I said, there is no intention here. I'm just practicing. I'm using this as a teaching method for myself on how to do this. Most of the communications that I've had throughout my whole entire life have been either things I've seen, heard, smelled, felt, and I didn't have to ask for them. They just happened. They just, there it is. It just happened. So that's basically all I have to talk about today. Pretty calm day. It's been so hot. Yesterday I didn't feel like saying anything or recording anything, but today I thought I'll do something here that I do like to do. I got a few more minutes before I just can, I'm at 20 minutes on here. Do I have 4 daughters that are living? No. Did I say 3 or 4? Do I have 3 daughters that are living? Yes. Did I have 2 miscarriages? Okay. And one of them was a male? Was the other one a female? Oh. So maybe the spirit of one of my other daughters has gone on to have a new life by now. But I have had 2 miscarriages, and one I knew that was a male. The other one, I didn't ask. I didn't think I could tolerate an answer at that time. So maybe that's where it was. See, this is a very, I don't want to say tricky, but it's very, it surprised me. I got 4 daughters? Okay, oh well. Do I have a granddaughter? Is her name Agatha Morley? Is her name Ginger Lily Mendoza? See that? Okay. Do I have a friend, a female friend named Rihanna? Does she live in America? Does she live in Glasgow? In Scotland? Yes. Very good. Thank you. Oh, I have a lot of friends out there, and I didn't say everybody, so don't get all blown out of proportion. The people that are like up in the top of my mind, I do talk about them a lot, and feel them a lot. So the people that are on Instagram and Facebook that maybe I are listed as followers or friends, but if we don't talk a lot, they're going to be lower down. Not on my doing, just the way it happens, okay? But the ones that I've recently spoken to, they're on the top of my mind, and so I'm talking, to them. Do I have a grandson named Ocean? Do I have a grandson named River? You see how it's swinging to you and to me? It's going back and forth like yes, okay? And did you see how it was going no? And then when I said, yeah, asked the yes, it answered. And it went like that. So that was pretty, you could see that there's a change in that. And this is something that's not really scary at all for me. Even the Ouija board now, I could go get one if I wanted to, but I already have experienced that. And I think, if you have the interest in something, you should experience it once in your life to make sure and see if maybe it's something you really want or good at, or if not, stay away from it. And I've chosen to stay away from a Ouija board. Now, why have I used EVP? because I'm pretty interested in that. At first I was skeptical, and there was the one time where I shared the video with you, and I was, Ginger and I was holding a white crayon, and I asked what color was the crayon, and it said white. And I've seen people who explore on videos, and I've heard them using some EVPs, and some of them just, like I said, that crackly, staticky noise in the background just drives me nuts for some reason. But there's some people out there who use very quieter type, and I'd like to find out what kind that is. But since I've had EVPs happen to me, I've had a telephone call from a person who is deceased. And she used to work for the telephone company, so that made it extra special for me. I don't get creeped out by these things because they're just like everyday normal occurrences for me. Maybe not every day. I don't hear the voices. I don't do this every day. I don't go out there looking, but they happen just like if it was an everyday experience, like drinking my coffee, having a sip of water, brushing my teeth, hearing voices, or whatever. And that's another reason why I've stopped seeking assistance or help with my depression and stuff. I'm empathic, and I feel a lot of people's feelings. And I do have heard voices, and that's one of the things they ask you when you are seeking help with that depression and hidden differabilities, like I mentioned the other day. You know, they always say, do you hear voices? Like, that's something that only somebody who's got some screws loose or whose nutter's upstairs. I don't think so. We're more in tune with what's up here in our mental health and our issues and our psyche and what's around us from within us. We are more attuned to that than other people. That's my number one reason why I will not do drugs or alcohol drinking or any of that stuff. Not even in the purest of forms. Nothing grown, nothing. Why? Because it's going to block that out. It's going to make me feel confused. Or people will say, oh, well, her, you know how she is. She's, or, you know, and no, I don't. My mind's very, very clear. Thank you very much. And I want to keep it that way. Even if I'm experiencing a lot of pain. There's times where I just calm myself down, come in here, relax, breathe, drink water, listen to music, do some writing, stuff like that, and I just, I'm fine. And I do my communication that way. Some meditation, sure, but I don't really want to get all involved in there too much, and you know, like I just kind of open, take stuff to the side, clear a path inside there that's all nice and whatever. Why don't I have candles going? Why don't I have sage going? Those are nice. Those are wonderful things to do. I'm not going to knock them, but I don't need to have them done. This answers me just fine without them. And I can hear or see, smell, feel spirits, feelings around me, whether I'm lighting candles or lighting sage or not. So I don't really need to get all formal and do that. It's something that some people do. They have intentions. They want to, communicate with somebody. That's their intention. They want to go through their steps and processes. And I don't dispute that. That's fine. Whatever you want to go. Whatever you want to do with it. That's fine. So I am Witch Nikki, and I'll see you next time. I love you all.